Hello and welcome to another edition of Inside the Burrow, the FAU podcast for and by fans. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. This is probably when this episode will air. I'm, as usual, joined by Jack and Shane, and we are going to dig into a little bit about UNT, talk about that game a little bit, go over the Charlotte game, and perhaps some bold predictions. And, we'll dive right into it, the North Texas game. Pretty disappointing game. I mean, I had that game circled, kind of penciled in as a loss. Beating North Texas, a very good offense. Really, in the beginning of the year, yes, they've underperformed much like us, but still a good offense. Tough to play a Thursday night game starting at 9:30 Eastern time. I think there's a lot of things stacked against us. So I had that game penciled in as a loss. It was nice to see that we, performed pretty well, but certainly not well enough. But so I don't know, Jack. What was your impression of that game?
Dude, it just sucked, man. How many times have I said that this season? By the way, it just sucked. But the game's over like at 1:30, 1:45 in the morning. The last two plays of the game or for the FAU offense, just so strange. But I just felt like we finally got the offense going around the second quarter, third quarter, but it just still seemed like we were ready to slip it away, like it was a Charlie Partridge years. Just like how we were talking about. I felt that way. The way how the refs were calling it, absolutely. We can talk about this afterwards because the refs were practically making calls left and right. It just didn't make any sense. So it sucked. I felt like we easily could have won it, but in the back of my head, I knew it just wasn't going to be our day. Like you said, there was just too many things working against us. The dropped passes needs to get fixed.
Yeah.
That is horrendous. It is so bad. Lane talked about it in the teleconference on Sunday. Willie is just not the same since that hit against FIU. I don't really think he's been the same since, the Air Force game? And Jake Elman had a good point. That could be because we're really without a big-time outside threat to relieve some pressure on the outside for him. Last year, we had Caleb Woods, Cameron Solomon, who we've been talking about almost all year about how much we miss those two guys. They're going to be huge downfield threats. Jovan isn't quite there yet. He's also been dropping the ball a lot. But because we don't have that threat, Willie isn't able to find open space. He gets the ball in those jet sweeps, and he has someone in the backfield almost immediately, a nickel or corner coming after him. So it's been rough. I thought Chris played fine, but it's just back to square one with Charlotte coming to town, a team that's always given us trouble for some reason. Remember, we played them after the Hurricane Matthew. They won after a Hail Mary was called back for absolutely no reason. Trouble last year to end the season. So we'll see, man. They're going to be playing without Brad Lambert. Brad Lambert's actually going to be continuing the season, but he's not going to be retained as a head coach next year. So it's going to be his last game. That's the only head coach Charlotte football has known. So Charlotte could be playing with a lot of fire. We need to be ready, or we're not going to go bowling come December.
We're 18-point favorites, and we'll be fine. I'm not worried about that this weekend. Let's talk about UNT.
We're fine all year, at least for Charlotte.
No, Charlotte's not a good football team. Like, they're not. Don't even sell me on this. They're bad. Let's say at UNT. I don't feel that way. I completely, yes, I'm disappointed in the season. But I just think there's a lot of things. Yes, we haven't had all the luck go our this way. We haven't played clean games, and I thought we were the better team on Thursday night. Let's just kind of look at the positives here. They could have easily rolled that thing up, and it could have been 42-3, and they could have got out of there on a short week. That's how it was in the first quarter. Okay? And I wouldn't even been mad because I said it, short week, all those things, cold, late start, and it just had that feeling that first quarter. Well, they made an adjustment. They rushed 3, and they said, well, we're going to make it. And the D-line played great. I mean, they were beating it on man pass rush, and they did. They fought back. Like I said, I thought Chris played fine. I think one thing we're going to have to realize with Chris is you're always with some of the great throws, like the throw he made to Deshaun Holmes to bring us back.
Wow.
because of the kind of gunslinger stuff, he's probably a lot of times going to make one, hopefully not two throws where you're just kind of, dude, what were you doing every game? I think that's just kind of him. I mean, but yeah, they fought back. The offense is inconsistent time. I think that's the main issue is they just don't have, I mean, other than motor, and it's hard when it's a running back, but they just don't have someone they can just lean on. We saw him and Harrison Bryant starting to get to that where it's just like, okay, it's 3rd and 8. I'm looking for Bryant. And he had probably his best game of his career.
Yeah.
As an out. Okay. Javon doesn't do anything great other than run straight really fast.
Yeah.
He dropped some balls. Everything has to be designed. He just, I don't know. He's not, kind of Caleb Woods getting it out, finding the 3rd down, just.
He can't really go up and make a play. I mean,
yeah, just get us 8 yards when we just need the 8 yards. Again, Willie Wright, the receivers have been, there was a crossing route, I think on our 2nd drive that John Mitchell caught, and on like a 3rd and 7, and he got tackled from behind, and I said that was maybe the slowest play I've ever seen a receiver make in my entire life. I mean, he should have had the first. Anyone that throws that ball, he should catch, and he should do strides, and he got caught, and I'm like, whoa, that was slow. I mean, if you watch other but, I kind of like the way they fought back. Yes, the game didn't go our way. I thought it had to do more with the refs. I also think there was some bad luck. They made an adjustment to Mason Fine, rush 3. They were shutting him down. They made the comeback. He gets hurt. They put in a running quarterback. Yeah. We're sitting there kind of, now we have to change the entire defense. They get a drive. They score on that drive. They come back and score again. We stopped him the 3rd drive. Once we figured out that kid couldn't throw, the coaches made another adjustment, and then they put Fine back in, and Fine didn't really do anything other than they had the one long run. So it was just kind of like every time we found them, they kind of had something go their way. I think if Mason Fine doesn't get hurt for those 2 plays, I don't think they might get that one long run, but they figured Mason Fine out the first quarter. They said, whoa, this kid, Mason Fine is not, I don't think he's very good. Like, does he do anything that impresses you other than throw the ball 3 yards when he has lots of time? I mean, dude, his whole career is piling stats versus UTEP and Rice in Southern Miss. His whole career. Sorry.
I think he's a lot like Stockstill in that he's a good.
Stockstill's way better than Mason Fine. I don't think they're in the ballpark of each other.
Oh my God.
They're not even. Dude, Mason Fine, anytime he gets any pressure, FAU is getting to him with rushing 3. And then he goes off and just throws 2 interceptions. It should have been a 3rd with Shelton Lewis on the one he dropped, and then we got the penalty. Like, once the kid got pressure and he wasn't throwing 4-yard slants the whole night, he had one nice throw over the middle, but like, whoa, once that kid gets a little pressure, he's a house of cards. Again, he is. Has he done anything against anyone worthwhile? Not to like.
I mean, I feel like when it comes to a lot of other
G5 quarterback, they pile stats versus bad teams, man. That's all he is.
When things get tough, he has like that 6th sense where he's able to pull games out. He just hasn't been able to do that against us. We just have his number. Same way has Middle.
Oh man, really pulling him out versus.
I know that's cliche, but Middle Tennessee's had our number. We've had Western Kentucky's number. It's just the way how sports work sometimes.
Yeah, but I don't think he's very good. I think the system he's in helps him look good. But I think he's not like a carry your team quarterback. He doesn't make – I mean, he's a small little accurate quarterback. And, I don't think if he gets hurt, he probably don't get those 2 rushing touchdowns. If they don't call that penalty, he threw what? How many interceptions? He threw 2.
He threw 2, and he's only
thrown. And another one was dropped in a matter of 2 quarters. Once we dropped 8 in the coverage, he couldn't figure it out because it wasn't hike, 1 read. They run that air raid offense. Those who don't know, I'm having a mind blank. Their coach comes from the Texas Tech coaching tree, the Mike Leach
Latrell
tree. So it's all just snap the ball and find somebody 5 yards on a read. And we dropped 8, and he was like, well, can't do anything anymore because – so it was just kind of frustrating. But, again, I like the way they fought. They lost a close game.
Missed another field goal that would have changed.
Yes.
That
get it, our kicker
completely.
Our kicker's bad. But here's the thing. One thing that frustrates me is everyone's like, well, go solve it. Here's the truth. 50% of kickers in NCAA kick below 75%. So if you go look at all the kickers in the country that have over 10 attempts this year, 50% of the country is below 75%. College kickers, man.
Right. I don't think there's no easy fix to that. He's a freshman. We're going to stick with him. He wasn't bad enough that we're going to, get rid of him.
Yeah, I think he has the leg strength. I think it's mental with him. You know what I mean?
And I think I heard that he was also, I don't know if he still had a hamstring issue that could have been lingering, and then it becomes mental, and you try to adjust certain ways.
Kickers are weird. I mean, remember we recruited Landon Shearer, who by some things was like one of the best kickers in the country, and then Greg Joseph, a walk-on, beats him, and Shearer never kicks a ball in his college career. So, yeah, we can go out and scholarship some kid, and he can go he can go be 8 of 17 next year.
Kicking isn't an issue. I mean, really, until it becomes an issue. But last year kicking wasn't a problem. Yeah, we had Greg Joseph, but Greg Joseph didn't make any game-winning kicks for us last year.
And Greg Joseph, if I remember, wasn't great his sophomore year. I think he kind of developed that. I also made the point that the Dolphins drafted a kicker this year who is from New Mexico, who has only missed 1 kick this year in his NFL rookie year. He's been phenomenal. He's hit game winners. In his senior year at New Mexico, he was 7 of 13.
Right.
So there's just so many variables. Everyone's like, oh, go out and scholarship a kicker. Go find a kicker. And yet you're going to have some guy hitting 85% and booting 53-yarders when you get it. I don't care. I want to go for it every time anyways. Like,
right. Yeah.
That was really entertaining football. Like, I had so much fun watching that game. It was nuts. I mean, that game, there was a lot of weird, quirky things, the play calling, things you don't see. I mean, that was a fun football game. I mean, the entertainment value on FAU is still pretty high, even though the season is disappointing. I mean, that was a fun game. I mean,
it was entertaining. You're right. So at least there was that. We got to stay up until 1:45 in the morning for an entertaining game. But it's just I think it was a good microcosm of the entire year. Just frustrating. One little thing doesn't go our way, and it kind of begins to snowball. You see flashes of Chris's greatness, and then, we kind of go back down to earth because of injuries and penalties and, silly mistakes. That last touchdown from Chris, though, oh, my God. Dude slinged it. That was an NFL throw, man. That was gorgeous. So,
yeah, I mean, yes, this season's disappointing. But I also, I said to someone, if we go to 6-6 and then we're fortunate enough to win a bowl game, let's say hypothetically we go 7-6. Is the season really that much make of a difference, especially where we are in college football? Is if we batted that one at Middle Tennessee, maybe beat La Tech. I mean, all in all, yes, 9-3 or 9-4 is better, but I think. I mean, I'm looking at some of the bowl games, and I'm like, wow, we might get a better bowl opponent this year, not winning the conference.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you go ahead and just win that bowl, it's all just a moot point anyways, right?
Yeah, I mean, the thing, and maybe we can talk about bowls a little bit more, but the benefits, we're going to get the extra practice time, which is going to be beneficial for the younger guys, and we're still going to be relevant. If people say, if they said, oh, it's FAU conference champion versus FAU and Lane Kiffin at whatever bowl game it is, they're still going to talk about us. Lane is going to sell is going to sell advertising dollars just because he's Lane. And for those that didn't see it, that are kind of concerned about, are we going to get a bowl at 6-6? Lane, he said multiple bowls have said we'll take you if you
Yeah.
get Super Bowl eligibility. So,
You
that's
have
really
the best running back in college, one of the best running backs in college football, Lane Kiffin, and
so there's plenty to sell. And again, if we had to take a bit of a macro look at things, that how many if we finish 7-6, that will be the third time in our 16, 17-year history that we've ever done that.
Let's just go back. Let's go back and look. We won,
not counting
the
2003,
New Orleans Bowl with Rusty Smith. Brought all those guys back. Everyone had. I mean, the seasons are so similar.
Yeah, absolutely they are.
All those guys back. Chris Bonner, Gent, Pierre, DeIvory Edgecombe, Rusty Smith was back. A lot of we're returning starters. That was the year we went and played at Texas.
Yeah, we're gonna be BCS Bowl Busters.
Yeah. We started the season 1-5. I remember we had a game on a Tuesday night at Lockhart at home where we were like balls were bouncing overhead.
Yeah.
1-5. We finished the season 7-6 and beat Central Michigan in a bowl game. And when you look back at that season, are you just like, is anyone going, man, I'm still just fretting over that, like, we lost to Arkansas State in a close one. 8-5 would have been so much better that year. But no, we look back and we're like, hey, that was a nice bowl win.
Back-to-back bowl champions.
Banners, like
Lefevre.
Yes.
Favorite.
And I think, our issues again this year, it's just little things that are sloppiness. You still see the talent there. They still went to North Texas, who's, a really good team in this conference, and on a short week, and played a game which I thought for the most part, they were the better team, and just penalties and kicking and just other little things we didn't do right didn't go our way and we lost. But this team is probably a couple cleanup things and a player or two out of position from being a conference champ again. You know what I mean? And getting everyone at home next year.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not going to look at this season and be like, we could have beat, kind of after we lost to UCF in Middle Tennessee, it was just like, well, let's just get to a bowl and kind of have fun with it, enjoy motor,
Right.
And this, I mean, if there's one good thing about just making a bowl, if we make it, if we win on Saturday, it'd be that it could be one more chance to see Motor. We don't know if he's going to go. There's a lot of speculation. I wouldn't blame him if he goes. I'm pretty sure this is a conversation we're going to have on next week's show. But it'll be one more chance to see the greatest athlete in FAU athletics history.
There was a Twitter video, and I watched the game with Andrew Ivins, who's been on the show and stuff. And, he covers UM every week. He's been on tons of college football games. And he's like, I think people realize how good this kid is. Even when you see, he sees all these people in person, and he's like, he's so good. And I think this week was the first week. There was a couple videos of Motor going around on Twitter of just runs from him this week. And I'm like, I remember at the beginning of the year, I was all for like, yeah, he should go. I think it's just time. And now there's part of me that's just like, I really don't want to see him leave. Like,
a once-in-a-generation player.
Jewel for the program. And just every week you see him on some Pro Football Focus stat or other things. He's just like this star player. And I'm like, yeah. Part of me is like, go get your money. You don't come back here. The other part of me is like, man, just make every record untouchable.
Yeah.
College football, literally, it stops tackling.
Yeah.
And remember that he really didn't play. He didn't really get a lot of carries until 2/3 of his freshman year.
I'll never forget. It was at Rice game.
At Rice, man.
He had that run. And he only had some carries. They work him in. That was the first game. They kind of like.
Yep.
They gave him I think he maybe had he had like some ridiculous, 144 yards on 10 carries or something. It was something ridiculous. He's averaging 14 yards a carry, and he had this one run where he put 2 jukes on a guy, and everyone's like, why hasn't this guy been playing all year?
Yeah. It's crazy. we're already talking with nostalgia, going back like, oh,
dude, but it feels so fast. Like now I'm just like, whoa, it's over. That Rice game feels like, and now
it was 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, the end of 2 seasons. It probably right around this time 2 years ago, maybe a little weeks. I mean, that was literally one of the last 3 games of the year. That at Rice game. So we're talking probably 24 months.
Because he ran for over 1,000 yards in 6 games. I think is what it was. It was something crazy like that.
Really didn't even happen. I think like most of that, like I think 800 or 750 of it was like in the last 4 games.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It probably. I know Jake asked him, and he said he's considering it. So he'll probably get information from scouts and stuff like that. I just I hope he doesn't.
It's a weaker running back class. Like there's not as many. Like if you wait till next year, you kind of have this huge class of Jonathan Taylor and a lot of other guys out there. So
might be a chance to go make some money.
Extra round in it for you, and
we'll see.
Enjoy him, this week. I mean, it's not going to probably be a ton of people out there this week, but
so bring signs accordingly. But and we'll kind of, I guess we kind of touched on Charlotte. We're 18-point favorites. I don't think I think it's different because their coach is going to be there. I feel like teams play above their abilities when the coach gets fired and is gone. I mean, he didn't have a very good record. I don't think
most of those guys are probably happy he's gone. Lambert,
yes, happy. Exactly. So
he's been fired 2 years ago. Sorry, Dan. Yeah.
No, that's the point I'm making is he's not a player's coach. They may be like, all right, now we can actually go. We can have a coach. See you later, type thing. So, that's I think when and you think of FAU in 2013, I think we played a bit above our abilities after Pelini got canned. But a lot of players liked Pelini. I mean, if you talk to former players, they liked that coaching staff. So
and we played 3 0-12 teams.
Yeah. The best win was other than FIU was that Tulane.
Yeah.
But we were favored in that game, if I remember, even though we only had 1 win or something, 2 wins.
Then it was New Mexico State, FIU. Who was the last one there? Tulane, New Mexico State.
Southern Miss.
Yeah.
Southern Miss on the road, and we have not played Southern Miss since.
It's kind of crazy, actually.
I think next year we'll line up with them.
We better, dude. It's been a joke that we see Rice.
Well, I mean, they delayed the rotation because of the whole UAB debacle.
I'm just saying, let's get Southern Miss and UAB. The 2 teams are probably going to be best in the West again next year because that's just how lucky we always are.
Yeah, that's what frustrates me like this. Other people are like, well, FIU's having a good season. And I'm like, well, let's look at each other's non-common opponents.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
6-5 Miami, who's a couch fire right now. Okay. Yeah. Indiana at home, Rice and UTEP. Well, we got La Tech, UNT, Oklahoma, UCF on the road.
Yeah.
I think FIU is going to lose to Marshall this week, and I think whatever team they scrum up in a bowl, I think they'll lose to. Because I don't think they can beat anyone worth a damn. Because they can't stop the run. And when you can't stop the run, it doesn't matter.
And they wouldn't have beaten
Charlotte has an anemic offense and scored 35 points against them.
They wouldn't have beaten Middle if Stockstill didn't get injured.
No. So everyone's like, well, they're having a good year. I'm like, I would have loved to trade lots. I think we could have beat Rice at home with Peavy starting.
We could have beaten Rice at home with one of us 3 starting.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
They're going to have 50 carries.
Yeah. Right. Just give the ball to Motor over and over again. But they are bad.
I do want to keep saying, Kareth White keeps getting better. He's kind of awesome to watch. I also want to point out just use some other players. Tim Bonner, I forgot to mention last week's show, is the last 3 games has played his best football at FAU.
Yep.
Yeah. That's good. Nice to see.
Yeah, he's played really well. I think he's really stepped up. I think there's not enough an appreciation for Rashad Smith. I think he's been our best defender all year. And it's really time to start. I mean, the guy's
a monster.
I think overall he just does more. I don't want to say Aziz was just kind of like a tackler. Rashad Smith is kind of an athletic freak that should be playing at a power school somewhere.
Yeah. And he can haul in the interceptions, which is
he's our best linebacker, maybe even our best DB. I mean, he's really good. I mean, you got to think the type of range he has. Last year, I don't know his sacks numbers this year, but last year he had, I think, 5.5, 6 sacks, and now he follows that up with a year with 3 interceptions. So, I mean, he's a 6-sack guy that can go get 3 interceptions. I mean, that's some pretty rare stuff. So I mean, getting him back next year, I think, he'll definitely be, an NFL type player.
Yeah. Well, we will hopefully next week we'll be going over our where we're going in a bowl, because normally bowls are assigned pretty quickly after the last game of the season, especially for the lower tier bowls, which is what we'd be going to normally on Sunday.
Yep.
And so keep an eye out for that. Make sure you check out the Nest. There'll be all the breaking news posted there. And want to give a quick shout out to the basketball team. Best start ever, which, yeah, our opponents haven't been great, but our opponents haven't been great the last 20 years, and we still haven't started this way. So Dusty may be onto something.
Dude, I mean, UCF was a solid win.
Yeah.
Georgia Southern is pretty solid this year. They can maybe finish number 2 or 3 in the Sun Belt. I'd say probably number 2 after Georgia State, who just laid the wood on UGA. It'll be a fun season, man. They performed well in the Bahamas. The one loss is to Southern. A couple other good wins. 5-1, man. Who would have thought that Dusty May would have changed I don't want to say change the culture, because it's not there yet, but would have changed the level of excitement in the basketball program so quickly.
Yeah,
so,
I'll be there on Sunday for the Gulf Coast game.
Yeah.
I think we good. It stinks the students aren't in town for that, but yeah. I mean, but Dusty May, we kind of talked about it, is you don't want to say perfect, like perfect fit, but man, if you find a coach who's familiar with your AD, knows the state of Florida and knows the conference you're in. I mean, he kind of has all those things, and he's kind of a young, energetic type guy. So it's just, I saw him at the last football game. He's just walking around with his family, with Coach Mack, who's every football game, by the way. Coach Mack he's just a Hyundai deck.
Yeah.
And you can always talk to him, but it's just fun. I can't wait to get out there and see them. Definitely other people should too. I mean, I don't know where we're going to fall in the conference, but
yeah, Conference USA is looking really good. Coach May actually mentioned that earlier. Hopefully, we've talked about it before. Hopefully, this is the year we become a 2-bid league yet again. I think if there's going to be a year where it's going to happen, it's going to be this one, and that's because teams like FAU and even that school down south are pulling their weight. FIU looks really good, guys. Sorry to say it. Don't know how they're doing it. Beard is playing good ball, but they look really good. So we need everyone just go out and support the guys. Jalen Ingram had another double-double. He's playing great. A lot of local players in the team. Support the guys, and during the in-state rivalry game against perennial mid-major power Florida Gulf Coast is really struggling this year. They lost to UTSA by double digits earlier. So go out and support them, guys. It's gonna be fun. We might even know while that game is going on what bowl game FAU will be in. So what a few several hours that could be for Owl Nation.
Yeah, could be a fun Sunday.
Absolutely, especially if we're going to Tampa to play USF.
You want to play USF? I know it's October, but man,
they're bad.
I'm just letting you know, if I was on a bowl podcast, I would have pitchforks and torches for Charlie Strong. I'm telling you,
he's
underachieved. Everything he touches produces less than what it's supposed to do.
They already do. There was a tweet from a great USF blog, the Daily Stampede, talking about how much money it will cost about his contract after they lost last week. And the tweet banged. It did like 200 retweets in
I saw that.
They all want him gone.
I get Willie Taggart back.
Yeah, Willie Taggart back. It's just bad.
I'm kidding.
I mean, it's just bad. Yeah, it's a bad situation. So
he doesn't even want to be there, and it's just so obvious. And we're talking to the kind of G5 football just in the state, and then you have the juxtaposition of what's going on at UCF. And I know it's a place to hate, but I'm very pro UCF and everything that's going on there. One, because I look at them, and granted they have other advantages, pure, like, their fan base is huge. I mean, just pure size of school. I mean, you spit out 15,000 alumni every semester.
Yeah.
You get 3% of them to produce your school. You have a monster. But it kind of, you look at it and you look at a school like FAU and you say, I mean, we can be there. I mean, like, yeah, a lot would have to go our way. I mean, you just don't walk into a 23-game win streak, but you kind of see the trail they're blazing for other teams. And, we're in the state of Florida, and if you look at what UCF has recruited-wise over the last 4 years, not entirely much ahead of us.
Correct.
I mean, they got kind of a dream quarterback, some good transfers. They find some guys, and they have a good system. But, I mean, right now, they still don't – UCF is a school in Orlando – everywhere, maybe the hottest school in the country to go to, and they don't have a 4-star commit.
Right.
They don't have a single, those kids are still going to commit and go to the Floridas and Miamis and Florida States, no matter how bad their seasons are, because that's who pays them. So,
yeah, so they're not getting the best players, but, I believe that they have the facilities and the culture.
They've got it, and they've got the right system.
You got the right system to just make it work, dude. I mean, they did it with Coach Frost. They did it even with George O'Leary. Dude, if George O'Leary can get it with Blake Bortles and Storm Johnson, then they can get it. So they're going to blow out USF pretty bad Friday. I'm going to that one. And then hopefully we'll play USF and then Gasparilla Bowl at Ray J. The fans here in Tampa will be irate. I will be giddy.
No, I want to play Cincinnati. I want a better opponent.
We're not.
All right, Hawaii Bowl. I'm Team Hawaii Bowl. I'm so Team Hawaii Bowl. I think it'd just be fun. A game. It's a Saturday night game. I said on the forum that it was Christmas Eve, and it traditionally has been played on Christmas Eve. But this year, it's Saturday night, December 22nd. You have a standalone ESPN college football game on a Saturday night. Every person that's at their in-laws' house, in their brother, has action on the game because there's nothing else. So they're going to watch the Wizards. And, that game's just thrown on. And you kind of have, like, this fun game. There'll probably be a bunch of points scored. Hawaii's defense is dreadful. They get away, it's kind of – so I think it'd be fun to play in the Hawaii Bowl. That's just –
All right, so we've got Team Gasparilla, Team Hawaii, and I'm Team Old Heart of Dallas Bowl. Because you can get cheap tickets to fly to Dallas, and I would go to that game.
There you go.
That's our three. That'll be our three wishes for.
Do you know something? Where that the Heart of Dallas Bowl got members, board, whatever you want to call them, were at the FAU North Texas game.
Yeah. So hopefully they were looking at us.
Jake Elman tweeted that out. Our good friend.
Yeah. Thanks, Jake, for the inside info. So, all right. Well, again, we appreciate you guys following along with us, and hopefully next week we are discussing bowl possibility or bowl destinations and travel plans, and what we can do to finish the year on with a winning record. So so for Jack and Shane, we really appreciate you hanging out with us for a little bit, and we will see you next week, and go Owls.